Hey, this afternoon, I just want to share with you guys some things that the Lord has been speaking to me this past week. I've really been putting myself in this place of really shutting out a lot of, there's a lot of prophetic voices out there, a lot that I really honor and respect, and people are releasing their words for the year. And so I've been super disciplined this last week and just not wanting to tune into what other people are saying, because I think it's so important for each and every one of us to be able to, sit before the Lord and to have that fresh revelation for ourselves and to hear God, what are you saying? What are you saying about 2025? What are you saying about this now season that we're in? And so, the last week, I just been kind of contemplating, okay, there has been a sense for the last, couple months of maybe a little bit of a lack of vision about 2025 and exactly what it's going to look like. So a little bit of a sense of almost God has been hiding that long-term vision, where it's been kind of, that season where, the Bible talks about your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. So sometimes the word is the light to your lamp to your feet, and God is only showing you one step at a time, what to move forward. And then there's the other seasons where his word is more of a light to your path, and he's illuminating, that more long distance, dark vision. And so, so I've been in that place of just okay, feeling he's been showing me, today what I need to do and those steps going forward, and just really hungry, kind of hungering, and maybe a little bit impatient at time. Okay, what is the long-term vision? Where are you taking us, God? And I really felt a shift in this last week. We are in a season of rest. We're in a season, I've been talking about rerouting, redirection, rest, recovery. And, but I felt a real shift in this last week, and a little bit clarity is starting to be released. Vision is starting to be released, and it's kind of coming in drips. And I just see, as much as we would love for God to release the scroll from heaven that has our step-by-step plan, so that we know today what we're going to do for 2025. Sometimes that's not the way that it comes. It's more, in the dripping and the little pieces here and there, paying attention to, what resonates, hearing God speak through dreams, hearing specific words that he's giving you, and so I've just been in this place of just waiting on the Lord. And I heard him say 2 days ago so that was Tuesday, December 17th, I just heard him say, the modus operandi has changed. And I may not have said that quite correctly. I believe it's Latin. So modus operandi means method of operation. And so it's we're just in this place. And so it's almost there's been a void of direction and operation, because we're in this massive transition point as we're now already in this new place, and so the ways of operating in the last season have become obsolete. And so we're in this place where we have to revisit the drawing boards, and we have to allow God to write, this new vision. But there's a clarity that has been released, and I've been feeling it this week, and God has just been giving me little bits and keys and things to unlock and to help me see what's coming, and some of these keys were, so he told me, okay, methods of operation have changed. So it's wipe the slate clean. We just have to wipe it clean and listen for his instruction, for him to tell us the next. But, I found myself this morning. So I do a couple things. I also have 2 journals. I got, my journal for Holy Spirit listening, where I write in this, and I've been writing in these journals for years, so colorful. I use different colored pens, and I just position myself before the Lord and say, what do you have for me? I've got dozens of these, filled cover to cover. But then I have these other journals where I write my dreams down. And in this season, these last, this year especially, I've always been a pretty big dreamer, but I just feel I've been a prolific dreamer in these months, and God has been downloading so much. And so like I sat down this morning after, having a couple of dreams that I was like, okay, I need to pray into these. There's kind of a, maybe a little bit of a warning nature of it, something, fuel for my intercession. And so, I sat down and I wrote out 4 pages of like describing the dreams that God had given me last night, and so that led me just to a place of like, revisiting the dreams and the things that God had been showing me. And it was like, as I was reading the dreams over the month, like he's already been downloading, he's been speaking, he's been giving me pieces, he's been giving me strategies, he's been showing me things that are already coming. He usually shows me like a few months in advance. There's some things he's even showed me years in advance, and so I just really felt this like, that there's actually been more of a pull for me to be focused in meditating on the revelation that God has been giving me while I'm sleeping than actually my old pattern and habit of like Holy Spirit, of listening to Holy Spirit and that kind of like listening prayer posture. So it's just noticing like that shift. Just want to say hello to some of you guys. Hello, Charity, Diane, Crystal. So good to see you ladies. Thanks for tuning in. And so, I've been in this place of like, okay, God, like, a little impatient. How many of you guys have been impatient and you're like, God, just tell me where we're going and like how to get there. And so I've been kind of like, it's felt like it's been hidden from me, but as I've been going through the dreams and the things that he's been speaking, it's just like, oh, wow, like this, there's so much more. There's so much more. And I just heard him say like, even I've been speaking to you, and rest is so important, guys. We spend, we should spend about a third of our life sleeping. I'm going to confess here, last weekend on, I think it was Friday night to Saturday, I slept for 13 hours, and when I sleep for 13 hours, there's a little bit of a sense of guilt that comes with that. But I really just felt the Lord was like, if you can sleep that long, like you need it. And your rest time is not wasted and your sleep time is not wasted, because I'm writing things on your spirit even when you're in this place of sleep. And so I really want to just challenge you, like continue to steward the revelation that God has been giving you, because he's been showing me, some exciting things and giving me some very specific instructions about even what business things I'm going to be engaging in the new year. And so it's really exciting, and so, there is this revelation that's being released, but some of it is being released in new ways because the methods have changed. So don't expect to necessarily hear him in the same way in this season that you heard him in the last season. And I've noticed even in the dreaming that there's been such an amplification, like an exponential, like dreaming and just writing down. Like usually I would fill one of these books in probably like 2 years. It would take me 2 years to fill one of these journals with dreams. But just in the last 2 months alone, I've probably written more than 20, 30 pages of just like dreams and things that God has been giving me, and so I really felt like, God is really, for me personally, steering me towards entrepreneurial pursuits. And he's saying like, this is the time for the kingdom innovators and entrepreneurs to rise up and to take their place. And, it's this place where those who have been, taking the things God has put in their hand, where we've, taken the talents, where we've been faithful. Some of you guys, you haven't experienced the level of breakthrough that you expected in the last season, where you put your hand to the plow or you stepped out in new pursuits, but there is just this wind and this grace to step out and to begin again and to do again and to cast our nets on the other side, because I just hear, there is so much being released from heaven, even now, and it's going to amplify even into the new year, but we have to get ourselves, continue this place of like rest, recovery, getting ourselves refueled, because in this season and with the amount of, strategy and resource and what God is gonna, give us grace to step into the new year, we need to recharge and refuel and make sure that we're so filled up so that we're, he doesn't want us giving out of a place of depletion or out of a place of brokenness or out of a place, where we're, giving so much that it's actually costing us and depleting us. But it is a time to like where he wants us to be so settled in who we are and in our identity that we're really giving out of the overflow, and he reminded me of, the level of overflow that's available. And it's like, in the parable of the talents, the one, we know the sad story of the one who buried their talent, didn't multiply it. And, they were referred to as a wicked and lazy servant because they didn't take what they'd been given and multiplied it. But then there was the one with the 2 who duplicated, and the one with the 5, who multiplied it. And then they were called faithful and they were given even more. And so we're stepping into the place of more, and God is positioning us. He's been trying to position us for breakthrough and position us. I saw streams, like there's multiple streams. It's like the dam has been broken and there are resources and strategies that are being released from heaven. But it's like you have to be positioned in the right places to be able to receive that which is being released. And so I just saw that's what a lot of this like shifting and shuffling and these like some of us these backward steps, we're like, oh my goodness, we thought we're making so much progress, but God has like pulled us back. And it's almost like I can see people standing, and you're standing at like the bed of a stream, and it seems like the river has been dried up. And it's like I can see, I felt that way as well. And we're standing there, and it's just like, okay, like where is it? Like, God, you led me here, but I don't see the flow. And, and then there's some, so I just see there's multiple streams. God is calling us into multiple streams. And, that's going to mean different things for different people. It's multiple streams for income and for resource and strategy, but also like multiple streams for influence and input and even kingdom and ministry. It's no more. It's like God is cross-pollinating and he's weaving the streams together. We have to be in that place of humility. We can't be in this place where we're like, okay, you know what? My stream is the best stream. Actually, I'll be an example of it. I got my Emerging Prophets, shirt on here. I'm an emerging prophet. I've been with Emerging Prophets for almost 4 years. I love Emerging Prophets. My life has been transformed. I've grown and been strengthened, and there's incredible community, and I love Emerging Prophets. But Emerging Prophets is not the only stream. There's other streams, and we all have strengths. They each have their strengths and their weaknesses and their focuses. Like some are more heavily focused in different areas. And so I just saw this real need for a lot of like cross-pollinating, and it was just this beautiful new level of like unity that God is bringing to the body of Christ, where it's no longer like, like this is my camp and this is my camp, but just I saw this beautiful like linking arms of people and these streams coming together and being woven together, where there's just such a settledness in who we are as sons and daughters that that's a shift away from competition and who's better than who, and into this place of like really celebrating, the strengths of our brothers and sisters, and really stepping into this new place of like true honor and just preferring of one another. So there's that, but then there's also, the streams of income. And yeah, Diane, let's chat sometime. I'm going to add you on my list I got this list for the new year of people I need to have conversations with. I got about 6 people down, and I got to add your name, because this is part of it. God is strategically connecting people. And, it's funny that, Diane, you say like, okay, we need to chat. I've had like 6 people say to me like, we want to take you out for lunch, or we want to have you over, or we want to have a conversation with you, or we want to reconnect with you, or it's been too long, and all these people. And it's like this beautiful, like God is positioning us and showing us like, okay, who do we need to connect with? Where do we need to be? And so the streams, hello, Kayla Lopez, my dear friend, good to see you. Thanks for joining. And Teresa McDonald, want to say hello to you. And who else do we got on here? All right. If you haven't commented, just drop me a comment. So good to see you guys. But yeah, so streams as far as like ministry. So whether you're with like Emerging Prophets or Bethel or GPA or I don't know what the other streams are. There's other prophetic streams, you know, and God is doing things in so many different areas, but it's just, you know, at Catch the Fire, I'm at Catch the Fire Church. That's another beautiful stream, you know, and God is bringing them, you know, he's bringing them together and he's weaving them together, you know, and also streams of income, you know. And so I saw this video, it wasn't a video. I'm distracting myself. I made notes distract me. So God was reminding me of the story in the Old Testament. I think it's 2 Kings, talking about Elisha, you know, and Elisha, the widow comes to her and saying like, okay, my husband has died, a husband who was the son of the prophets. And, you know, they're like, oh, they're going to take my sons, sell them into slavery. And, you know, so what can I do? And so Elisha says to her, go gather vessels, go to your neighbors, get jars, you know, prepare, like, okay, because all she had was a jar of oil. That was the only thing he had. She said, okay, go and get the empty vessels. Go and get as many empty vessels as you possibly can. And so that's what she did. And we know the rest of the story. The oil continued to pour out. It filled every single empty vessel. And God showed me this picture, and it was like the dam is breaking. The dam is breaking, and I saw that it's like people who have positioned themselves at multiple riverbeds with multiple streams and places. And so it's like I see these ones who have like got their fingers in so many different things, that even to a point where one might even call you foolish because you haven't focused your energy and attention. But I actually saw that there is a real grace and a blessing that's going to come on those who have diversified, because as the dams are breaking, I saw this overflowing of the riverbanks. And so where there was more, it's like the woman, like she had more vessels, even though they were empty. The more vessels she had gathered, the more that she was able to contain, and the more the greater her resources. And that was about debt cancellation, you know. And so we've all heard this verse, you know, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous, and people, you know, believing for supernatural debt cancellation. And you know what, I would love for my mortgage to be supernaturally, you know, paid off, you know, wouldn't you, Kayla? We always talk about that. You know, but it's like I saw that God was saying that the method, the supernatural cancellation, a lot of it is going to come through, you know, the overflowing of where you have stood by the streams, where you have dug a well, where you have gathered a vessel, where you have positioned yourself to be able to receive and contain. And this is what God is doing. And the storehouses and the strategy rooms of heaven have been opened, and there is a release of strategies and resources, and they're, you know, and it's starting. It's already starting. And I'm not just putting it off to the new year, because I've already started to feel the trickle of it, and it's coming in. And it's like God is, you know, this week it's felt like he's given me a new pair of glasses, like a new pair of lenses to see in the spirit, and to just all of a sudden see the things that I already, you know, that he's already positioned me for, you know. But there's been a holding back of the fullness of the clarity, because he doesn't want us to run out of time and out of season. And it's not yet time to run, but it is time to rest and prepare and get our things in order, so that we are going to be so refueled and strengthened and able to step in to these, you know, some of the things he's calling us to, you know. And one of the dreams that I had, that I was looking at, I saw that God, he highlighted this to me this morning. And in this dream, I was going to school to write a test. And he took me through this back doorway through a technology wing of the school. And I'd never been into this technology wing. And I had to go through the technology wing to get to the place where I was gonna, like, you know, where I wrote my test. And he was just showing me, like, Jenny, I've already shown you, like, technology. Like, there are back doors to technology and unfamiliar technological things that my children are going to start stepping into. And it's through these technological advances, you know. And he also said, you know, so I shared that verse already, the wealth of the wicked is stored up for the righteous. But he also told me that the tools of the wicked are being handed over to the righteous. And so I saw him putting things, that have been created in platforms and tools and, artificial intelligence things that, you can look at these things and be like, oh no, it's so scary. It could be in the hands of the enemy, but he's putting it also into the hands of his children. And so we have to shift our posture in this season away from being consumers. And I'm feeling the conviction. I'm the first one, I'll put up my hand and I will confess that I scrolled on TikTok for an hour and a half the other night. I don't even let myself go on TikTok because it's such a time suck. But I was like, I just needed to zone out, and an hour and a half, not that there's guilt for that, but how many of us do that day after day after day after day? TikTok, reels, consuming, eating, just taking in everything that's coming. And he says, you were not created in the image of a God who is a consumer, but you were created in the image of God who is a creator. And so we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and see the reflection of the glory of God as we are created in his image as creative beings. And, there's so much in the way that children are trained and socialized where those natural creativities and instincts and skills and things that we're born with, where we just want to paint and draw and make things and imagine, where it gets so dumbed down and shut down. But I just saw this explosion of creativity and ideas and new business strategies for people to take things, that maybe you, I don't want to give my specific example yet. Maybe it's you knew that you had something that you wanted to market, something that was of incredible value, but you didn't have the means and the methods. And so you kind of pulled back and said oh, well, it just doesn't work. And I just saw all these people oh, it just doesn't work. I can't do this. I can't make this work. But there is this slipstream of the Spirit that we're going to step into through the door of technology. And so start learning, stop scrolling, start learning, learn how to use some of these things, learn how to use some of these tools. I also heard the Lord say, it is time for the old dogs to learn new tricks. There are some who are stuck in a past generation and those ways of operating are now obsolete. So us, old dogs, you don't have to be old in age to be an old dog, but it's to get out of the comfortable in the familiar and to embrace these new ways of operating in this season, and so I'm really excited. I'm really excited. Kayla, if you're still on here, I'm really excited for you. And as God was talking to me, I actually got really excited for some of the things that I see God using you and doing through you through business and technology. Awesome. Just want to say hello to a few of you guys. Thanks for tuning in and listening. I know this is kind of a weird time of day, at least if you're in Eastern time zone. It's almost dinner time, but I wanted to get on here before I teach my Emerging Prophet School this evening, which my class starts in about 2 hours. But yeah, I'm excited and just glad to connect with you guys even before the holidays, because Christmas is going to be a nice, relaxing time of rest, time with family. All right, if you have not commented and you're still on here, just drop me a message because I'm going to release a few prophetic words. Okay, Chris Sheard, hello. And Joanne Forget, good to see you. Todd Lemieux, Crystal Lee. Yeah, Crystal. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation there, Crystal. Yeah, this is for you. And this is a nail word. And it's it's almost like I can see you as Elizabeth carrying the John the Baptist in her belly. And it's almost like as I'm delivering the word, it's I can see that which has been gestating within your spirit actually leaping leaping for joy, because it is such a confirmation of the things that God has put on the inside of you. And this really is, this is the season. And I just hear the Lord say, no more miscarriage of destiny. This one is protected. And I see that this, that in times past, I can see that there has been like disappointment and things that have not come to fruition, the way that you had liked. But I just see this hedge of protection that the Lord is putting around you. And I see that it's like, as you're gestating, I kind of see you like in the 6th month of gestation. So which shows me that there's a few more months to go before it's fully going to be time to like, push this out full term. A 6-month baby can survive, but things are always better when they're full term. And so I just encourage you to just continue in this place. And I actually see God bringing some women into your life who, it's almost like midwives in the spirit, or even like Lamaze coaches. I kind of see like these ones that God is connecting with you within this season, because there is a certain level of, I don't know, it's Lamaze coaching, but I almost see them more like cheerleaders. Like it's like people who are really cheering you on and celebrating you and championing you in this season. And he's taken away he's going to take away that sense of like aloneness. And I see specifically, I said 6 months, between the 6th and the 9th month, in these next 3 months, like he's bringing in some very strategic people and relationships and connections so that you are ready. And this is really, even though you're doing so much and you've been carrying this in your spirit, and for so long you have felt like this horse that just wants to get out of the gate. I just, it's like I can feel that fire inside of you. You're just like, you just want to go, you want to go, you want to go. And you're so tired of the pullback. But I just hear him saying like all the tension of the pullback, all the tension of the pullback, all the frustration of the pullback, it's all momentum that is going to launch you and propel you forward if it is released at the correct time. So I just bless you. I bless you with these new relationships that are coming in, and these ones who are not going to be intimidated by the level of your gifting, but are going to be able to honor who you are and see the value that you bring, and really be able to celebrate and champion you, even if they don't fully understand you. So I just release that to you. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm so happy for you with that. And yes, Chris, it is time. It is time to go forward. And yeah, Diane Wallace cheering you on. She's one of your ladies there. That's so good. I love that. Oh, yeah. Tina Marie Hansel, welcome. Good to see you. I'm going to prophesy over you, lady. Yeah. Yeah, Tina. Wow. Tina, I just see that the Lord has had you in such a season of training where you have become such an expert in the things that he is giving you. And it's like, I can see you going through the routines and going over and over the things that God, it's like where you've been training and practicing. And it's like, I can see you like in the gym and just doing the things over, like spiritually speaking, but doing these reps and these routines like over and over. And I see that you've been perfecting your skills, and you've really been, just giving yourself so diligently to the craft and the thing that God has called you to. And I just see it's like, you have been so diligent and so like, it's like you give yourself 100%. So it's like, even though there's been like dress rehearsals and practice runs and things that weren't like the real deal, like you're giving yourself 100% and you've just done it. It's like that doing all things as unto the Lord, so even where you found yourself in positions or assignments where you've had to serve people or do things, even for those who hadn't, treated you very honorably, but like you learned how to do things as unto the Lord. And the Lord sees how you've been so faithful in these things. And he says, now it's showtime, Tina. It's showtime. And I just see, he says, like, you are no longer the understudy, but I'm actually putting you on stage. And so that is your, that is like going into this new year, like he is really pushing you forward, and he's bringing you because you've been such a good example and you've been faithful and you've stewarded. And I just see like, even areas where it's like, some people have 1 talent, some people have 2, some people have 3. God gives different in Corinthians, it talks about, he gives different measures of different gifts to different people. It's all the same Spirit, but we have different measures. And it's like, I saw where it's like, and it's not about comparison, but it's where like maybe you had only like 2 talents and like someone else had 5, but so there was this thing of like, you weren't given the same level or measure, but when God looked and saw like the faithfulness and the stewardship, he's actually now positioning you and moving you and giving you some of the talent of the one who had the more, because it's like you took what you had and you've multiplied it at so many levels. And I see you actually just like outranking and out advancing certain people who had some, more natural gifting and ability in certain areas, but it's like you've moved well beyond, and you have developed skills and spiritual abilities that, I just feel like the Father's pleasure for you, and that it's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. Those things that God has put in your heart to do, the visions, the like when, but when, I'm trying, I'm preparing, I'm ready. He is releasing in this new year, like get through the holidays in this season of rest, and just know that the gates open in January, the curtain, it's curtain call time, and it's showtime. Yeah, bless you at that, Tina. Yes, showtime. Hey, good to see you, Cassidy, Mikula, Sydney Smith-Berry, Ann Lashbrook, Veronica Lopez. Hello. Veronica Lopez. Yeah, Veronica. Yeah, I see the Lord giving you, it's like a new vehicle for this season. And, where it has seemed like, you've had to like go about some things on foot. It's like, I've seen you like trudging, and like, you're so faithful and you're going after it and you're doing the things. And I've saw you like, even though it's almost like you were in a place where you didn't have a vehicle. And it's like, you were trudging, whether, walking, and then I saw you like on a pedal bike. And so you were like, pushing, but there was still, even though there was an upgrade, there was still an overexertion of energy that was leaving you feeling depleted. And I just see the Lord giving you actually like a motorized scooter in this season. That's the picture that I saw. I don't think I've ever seen that prophesying over someone, but it was like he's giving you something where you can still stand in the things that you're called to, and you're still going to be able to maneuver and to go, but there's a quickness and a speed and an ability to go the distance. And I just saw this ability for you to move so swiftly through the things that you have already been doing, except in this season, it's not going to deplete you. And it's like some of the things I was talking about earlier about getting into the slipstream of the Spirit, like there is a streamlining of some of the processes as well that he's giving you. And I actually see some things that you're doing that you're going to streamline, and things that took you so much time and effort and energy, you actually find technological solutions that is going to enable you to do in 5 minutes what used to take you an hour. And so just an ability to really like multiply and advance. And I just so much joy and so much freedom in your time to be able to like really enjoy and celebrate and do like, be with the people that are most important to you, and like just really loving on your family and having having this ability to like be there for your family and all the things, that you would desire to be there, and just not feeling like you're missing out anymore. So I just bless you with your new wheels, your new motor, and enjoy the ride. Yeah. Hello, Katrin from the UK. I got to prophesy over you. I don't think I've ever prophesied over you on one of these. Just need a little more fuel. Katrin. Whew. Wow. Anna Katrin, I see you covered and just so cloaked. It's like, it's the blood of Jesus. And it's like, I saw it almost like a bucket of red paint just like dumped over you. And I just saw this covering, this level of coverage on you, where it's like the Lord has just so, in this season, it's like you're literally like you're dripping in the Spirit. Like there's a dripping. And I just see that it's like there's this new place of communion that you've entered in with the Lord, and this new, I don't know if you've been doing some like new prophetic acts or something, but this new place of communion, where in this new revelation of the access that communion is giving you. And it's like, I see you, it's like I just see you like merged in, like you're so like, it's almost like I see Jesus and I see you, and I just see like the two of you just so melded together. And it's this incredible, beautiful picture. And it's just that thing of you are hidden, you're so hidden in Christ. And it's this new way. I don't know what you're doing, but it's this new way that it's like you're tucked into Jesus. And it's like the things of the enemy and the arrows that used to be able to kind of like penetrate or poke, or, you know, it's like they can't even find you. And it's like this, like, so I don't know, it's like this spiritual transparency where it's like when you're in the second heaven realm where, you know, the enemy and the demonic and all that is, it's almost like you have this like suit of invisibility. And I see you being able to like just walk through, and I see God even being able to send you into, whoa, this is so powerful. I see like this invisibility suit that is enabling you to walk into the enemy's camp. And it's like being able to walk in, like spiritually speaking, to be able to walk through undetected and be able to take back that which was stolen. And I see God, you know, he's even how like Elisha heard the words of the king. I can't remember which enemy king it was, but it said that Elisha could hear the words of the king even in his bedroom and in his chambers. It's like, Anna Katrin, I see the Lord so tuning your spiritual hearing so that you're hearing, you're intercepting the plans and the strategies of the enemy, and you're bringing things to naught. And it's like, I just see you from like this hidden place inside, and it's like I can see all the darts that the enemy is firing, and it's like I just see them like exploding in midair, like if there's like a dome of protection. Yeah, and so I just see these new like strategies for you. And there's so much joy, like there's so much joy in it. Yeah. Whew. And it's a new level of authority that he's given you. I see there's an upgrade in your level of authority. There's an upgrade in your level of protection. There's been like because there's like a rank upgrade that you've received in the Spirit. And so there's also been an upgrade in your, like the level of angelic protection that's around you as well. And so it's like, I can even just hear the sound of like marching troops of like angels that are like ready to go, because you've been one who's been so faithful, and you've been partnering yourself to release the word of the Lord and the strategies from heaven. And it's like, you know, the angelic has just been like waiting for the body of Christ to like partner with heaven and release heaven's solutions. And so you've done that, and you've so positioned yourself. So it's like the troops are there, and they're just like, okay, like send us. And so I just can hear the sounds of like the marching troops, like in the, like the troops in the treetops, you know, and you just sending them. Yeah. So I bless you. You're so covered. I would like an invisibility suit in the Spirit as well. I'm going to ask for one of those. Maybe I'll put it on my Christmas list, you know, because that's pretty awesome. And I've never prophesied that over anybody before in my life. Awesome. Okay. Who else is highlighted? Let me see. All right. I feel like I might have another one in me. Cassidy. feel like I just prophesied over you. I can't remember. Did I just prophesy over you on Stephanie's thing? If I didn't, I meant to. But yeah, I think I actually did. Yeah, I'm remembering. I prophesied about the popcorn. Yeah. Cassidy. I see the Lord, he's giving you new weapons of warfare in this season. He's giving you, it's like new strategies, new weapons of warfare. And it's like, I see you, you're a sharpshooter in the spirit, but it's like, I see like, it's like you have your gun, but he's actually put like a silencer on it. And so it's like, it's this ability to, whereas, if you don't have a silencer, it like makes a lot of noise and draws attention. And I see like, that's kind of how it's felt in the last season, where it's like when you've engaged in spiritual warfare, it's kind of like, you felt like you got a little bit of backlash because there was that like, it kind of making, ripples in the spirit realm. But I see he's giving you this silencer. And actually it's quite similar, to what I just said to Katrin about the invisibility, because it's silencing the sound. And so there's this thing of hiddenness where it's like you're able to go in and, you're able to take out things in the spirit realm. And I see you actually, it's like there's doors that you have been trying, you've been trying to go through, or it's like you've known there's these doors that somehow got locked to you, they got shut to you, but they're part of your inheritance. And I just see this like tenacity rising up inside of you, and you being like, I am not going to have that held back from me. And so you're like, I'm going to have my inheritance. I'm going to have everything that is proportioned to me. And so I see you, I see this picture of these locked doors that like belong to you, and you shooting the padlocks off. And so it's like God is giving you ways to be able to get in. And I just see this like this bulldozing in the spirit where you're taking territory and you're going through. And I just see God giving you abilities to unlock things that the enemy has tried to lock up and keep an escrow, so that you're like forever waiting. There's no more delay for you, Cassidy. There's no more delay, that they are being released, and God is showing you which locks, which things to take out in the spirit. And you're going to start seeing the things. There's inheritances and releases, like resource releases and things that belong to you. And you're going to notice a shift, because where it has seemed like the well was running dry and it's like something was stopping up the flow, you're going to start to notice that there's a free flow. There's that free flow, and things are going to start to come. They're going to start to just line up, and you're going to find that coming towards you, that flow in the spirit. So yeah, I just bless you. You just bust those doors down, because you know what belongs to you. So much fun. Guys, I'm going to go make some dinner shortly. If you're not in my Prophecy Hour group, it's a free group that I host on Facebook. I am hosting a Prophecy Hour on Monday with some of my mentorship and EP emerging prophet students. So we're going to do prophetic ministry for about an hour on Zoom. So if you'd like to be part of that call, you'll see there's a post on my personal page. You can just join the group, and then you'll be able to access the link there. But would love to see you guys. I know it's the 23rd. It's really close to Christmas, but it's just always so fun and encouraging. And you know what? If you know someone who you think is prophetic, who needs to learn about the prophetic, or just be encouraged, if you have a friend or family member, invite them to the group and let them join the call on Monday, because we always have such an incredible and enjoyable time. All right, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys. I'm ending at 4:44. That's so perfect. Have a good afternoon.